Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Yeah, I know it's not Halloween yet, but I'm just right in the middle of Season of the Witch. And just, I can't get that fucking jingle out of my head, man. Like, out of all the, songs, like little jingles in an 80s movie, that's near the top for me. Like, how do you not love that fucking song? But that's for Halloween 3. I already got Halloween 2 watched it earlier today, and it was great to see some Halloween movies that I actually enjoy with all this crazy shit going on with Halloween Ends. But that's for Halloween. Let's talk Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell from 2009, which this was his return to horror. Like, after doing the Spider-Man films and making even a bigger name for himself after the Evil Dead trilogy and then Spider-Man and a few other movies that he did, this was his return to horror. And for people who are waiting for that, they fucking got it with this movie. And I adore this movie ever since I first saw it. I absolutely love Drag Me to Hell. The only thing that I have a little issue with, and it's a very little issue, and it's just the CGI. Like, there's a decent amount of CGI in here, which we know how well Sam Raimi has pulled off practical effects in all the Evil Dead movies. So, I mean, there are practical effects in here, but just the CGI is a little overused. That's pretty much the only negative I have with this movie. But let's get into the movie here. So we open up with the kid that stole a bracelet from this gypsy, and he goes to this medium psychic woman who we see later tries to help Christine as well. The kid is going to hell for stealing a bracelet or a necklace or whatever it is. I think it's a bracelet, right? And the whole idea of heaven and hell, I've said a few times on the channel, I really don't have beliefs of any sort. Like, if anything, I believe in the universe and the cosmos, and we're all linked by the same energy, something along those lines. I'm not going to get into it here. But the whole idea of heaven and hell just never held any appeal to me, because the whole implication of going to hell or heaven is that it's forever. It's for eternity. And I think a lot of us don't really think about what that means enough to really grasp that. And it's really kind of impossible to grasp that whole idea. But when you say that you're going to hell for eternity, forever, that's like, imagine spending 1,000,000 years there, and then fast forward 1,000,000,000 years, and you've only really spent a minute or so there. Like, that's what forever is implying. And does anyone deserve that? No. Not in my opinion. Like, you could be the worst human being on earth, murdering, raping, torturing people your entire life. But does anyone deserve that? Hell for eternity. Eternity. With no end. No one deserves that. In my opinion. No one deserves to be burning in hell forever. That seems like way overkill for anybody's situation. I mean, sure, if someone's that big of a murderer or a crazy person like that, psychopath, lethal injection, or, death penalty is just fine. But to spend even heaven, if that exists, after a certain amount of time, you'd be done with everything. You'd be just kill me now, end it all, because I can't take a fucking minute of anything else anymore. So time, space, that would all have to not exist in heaven or hell for it to even work. So this is why it's never held any appeal to me. But this kid being sent to hell for stealing a bracelet is fucking insane. Absolutely, completely crazy. For a kid, he's a fucking kid. They make mistakes. It happens all the time. You're gonna curse this kid for him to get dragged down to hell by this Lamia demon or force or whatever you want to call it? That's so fucked up, man. But it's a great intro. It's a great opening to this movie. And the score in this movie, I've always loved. Just with the violins and just the creepy melody to it. It fits the film so well. This film has a great atmosphere to it. And it's fucking Sam Raimi, man. I mean, everything this guy touches is gold. Like, Sam Raimi has never disappointed me with any film that he's done. The whole Evil Dead trilogy, the Evil Dead remake, Ash versus Evil Dead, everything to do with the Evil Dead franchise. That's why it's one of my favorite franchises in horror. It has never let me down yet. Not a single entry. Even the video game that came out recently, earlier this year. I only got to play a little bit of it. I'm still waiting to fucking purchase it. Awesome, though. Everything that Raimi has done with the Evil Dead franchise is fantastic. I'm not a big superhero person, but I did very much like his Spider-Man films. And then having him return to this was just a treat. So we have Christine here. I forget who plays her, or the actress's name, but what a performance that she had to go through, man. Like, she had to do a lot of... This is a fucking disgusting movie. Like, everything is turned up in classic Raimi fashion, dialed up to 11. The gore, the grossness, just there's so many disgusting gags throughout this movie. And for her to have to... She did a great job of dealing with all that and, like, making this movie and playing this performance. Dealing with all of these just nasty gags, like with Miss Ganush, and when she's just like gumming on her chin when they're fighting in the car, and at the funeral for her when she falls on top of Christine and the fucking embalming fluid is like just not even dripping, and just like Sam Raimi always just spraying into her mouth. Like, a lot of fucking nasty shit she had to put up with filming this movie. So I give her props for that, the actress who plays Christine. And we have Justin Long in here, which I do like Justin Long in certain roles, pretty much like roles like this. Like the straight guy or the caring boyfriend and stuff. There's certain roles that I've seen him in that it doesn't work for me. But in roles like this, and in like in the original Jeepers Creepers, like, I do enjoy Justin Long a decent amount. And he has a great name. So who can fault him for having a great name like Justin? And so we have Christine, who works at the bank, and she has this promotion that she's looking to get. And then we have this dickhead Stu. Stu is the name. Yeah, Stu. And he's new. He's like brand fucking new here at this bank. And it's implied she's been working at this bank for years. A long ass time. And he thinks that he's going to come in and take her promotion? Fucking no way. Like, fuck you, Stu. Like, there's not a chance that this is her promotion. This is what she's been working towards for all the time that she's been working at this bank. And it's implied, too, that she's great at her job, that she's a good worker, that she's always goes the extra mile, and this dickhead is going to come in and steal that promotion from under her? Not a fucking chance. Like, if that was me, there's just no chance that would ever happen. Not a fucking chance. But then we have the whole bank scene when Ganush comes in, and Christine has to make this choice of... She looks back through all the paperwork from Miss Ganush, and she sees that this isn't the first time she's asking for an extension, that they've given her extensions a few times. And she goes into her boss and even asks him and says, you know, she's really struggling. Like, is there a chance that maybe we can give her one more extension? And he says, you know, the assistant manager position, this is going to be choices that you're going to have to make. So I'm leaving it in your hands to make this choice. So do I think Christine does anything wrong here? No. Like, no. Like, not one bit. Like, she's looking at this woman who's sitting across from her, who looks like she's dying, like, right then and there. She's taking the handkerchief out, and she's fucking just gagging into it, almost puking into it, blowing her nose with snot coming all out of it. That's what I said, it's a gross-ass fucking movie, man. But all of that, sitting in front of you at your job, and begging for another extension, which she even mentions alternate options. Don't you have family members you can live with? No, she doesn't. You can live in an assisted living or anything like that. And no, she's too prideful to live in assisted living or live in a homeless shelter or anything like that. But does Christine do anything wrong by denying her the loan? No. Like, I mean, it might sound cold hearted. I mean, she could have given her the loan. She could have. And she even says to her boyfriend, to Justin Long's character, at the end of the movie, saying that she could have given her the extension, and she chose not to. I mean, I could see certain people saying that, oh, bullshit, she could have given her the extension, and she wouldn't have had to go through any of this. She could have, but this is not the first time this woman hasn't paid back an extension that was given to her by this bank. This is multiple times now. After a while, like, you gotta listen, like, we did everything we could. We can't help you anymore. Like, then, if they just gave everybody who needs an extension after extension and stuff, they'd be out of business. Like, that's not what a bank does. Like, after a while, you have to just be straight up and be like, listen, we gave you chances. You weren't able to pay these loans back. We have to, we can't do anything else for you. And then she gets on the floor and starts, like, kissing her feet, begging her. And she calls for security. And who can blame her? I mean, she's acting like a fucking nutcase, this old woman. She's gross as can be. She's getting on the floor, causing a scene in your bank that you're looking for this promotion to get. Can't have this shit going on in my bank. Like, are you serious? This woman's acting like a mental case. And then she goes on to say, you shamed me. You shamed me. Again, how? Just from her calling for security to get this creepy ass woman away from her? She doesn't know what this woman's capable of, or if she's gonna pull out a weapon, or she's gonna do some crazy shit. You can't have this going on in your place of work, in your bank here, that you're looking to be assistant manager at. Security. That's the first thing I would do, is call for security. And then she starts saying how you shamed me. Okay, I shamed you. Get the fuck out of my bank, please. It's mentally what I'd be saying, but I'm sorry, Mrs. Ganush, there's nothing that we can do. And that's basically what she ends up saying, is that we've given you too many extensions in the past, and it does not look like this woman is paying back anything anytime soon. And I'll get to that, because even if she did give her the loan, she still wasn't paying the shit back. And we get the car scene, which is just pure Raimi, man. Like, this is such a great scene, but it's such a nasty scene. She gets in the car, Christine, when she's leaving, and you see Miss Ganush right behind her in the back seat. And she says again, like, you shamed me. And then just starts attacking her. And just the sick shit of her, like I said, with her gumming her chin. And it's so nasty, man. Like, like, such disgusting shit. And I love the shot of when Mrs. Ganush just pulls out the button and she just goes, or is it the button? Yeah, it's the button, right? Yeah, she pulls it out and she's like, and blows on it. And that's such a cool shot. And she just says, Lamia. Like, that's it? I guess that's all it takes to unleash a demon on somebody. What if she did it by accident once? What if she was holding an item and she was explaining this to her gypsy friends? And she said, oh, I curse this bitch with the Lamia. And then hands some item back to her gypsy friend. Does that mean she's cursed with the Lamia demon coming after her? Like, it seems way too easy to summon this demon onto Christine by just saying the demon's name and blowing on a fucking coin. I don't know. I always confuse the coin or the button. It's the button, right? Pretty sure it's the button, because it came off of her shirt. So yeah, it was the button. But seems like a very easy way to sick a demon on somebody. And then all these things start happening to Christine, and she starts seeing, not hallucinations because they're really there, but she starts seeing all this demonic stuff happening, paranormal events happening around her. And then she goes to the psychic guy. And, in this world, psychics are real, which I've mentioned once or twice on the channel how I feel about psychics and healers and aura photographers and spiritual healing, all that bullshit, which it's a fucking scam, like a complete scam. And there's people I know who claim to know real psychics, or maybe people watching claim to know real psychics, or that they are a psychic, and that's great. I mean, think whatever you want to think, whatever makes you happy. I always say that's fine. For me, it's a fucking scam. You're being scammed, and that's all there is to it. With all the psychic bullshit and people who can talk to the dead and all of that. I think it's preying on people at their weakest point. It's preying on people's guilt. It's preying on people's emotions, and especially that they're making money off of you. I think it's a very, very evil thing that these people do. By making money preying on people's weaknesses and on their hopes and their dreams and their guilt and any type of emotion that you can name that someone's going through, especially after like the loss of a loved one or anything like that. And then them people going to a psychic to try to get closure, to try to get some type of relief for knowing that that loved one is still out there or could still be there with them. I think it's very, very hurtful what these people are doing. But that's a whole thing that I don't feel like getting into. But ends up going to the psychic, and he ends up saying that he knows somebody that they can go to that has worked with this in this type of fashion before with this demon, and they end up saying that if she makes a sacrifice, that it might appease the Lamia. And she's, at first, I love how quickly she changes, like 180 on this. She's like saying, an animal, I can't harm an animal and stuff. And then like when shit really hits the fan in Christine's house, when she's seeing like the hoofs under the door, like the visions of the Lamia, she's fucking jumping at her cat so fast to kill this fucking cat as a sacrifice. Like, I just love that 180, that she's just like, I'll never hurt an animal. And then she's just mauling this cat to death, stabbing it to death. Like, that is fucking hysterical. And then we see her go over to Mrs. Ganush's place and tries reasoning with her. And the family member opens the door, says, oh, you want to speak to her? Like, it's a little too late. And brings her in, and we see it's her funeral, that she died. So like I said earlier, even if she gave this other extension to Mrs. Ganush, she's gonna fucking die. She was not paying that extension back either. So like, she made absolutely the right choice in my mind. Like, I can see other people saying, and they do a good job with it in the movie, like, it's not like they had Christine do something like egregiously wrong. Like in Stephen King's Thinner, when the main character hits the woman with his car and kills her and gets off on manslaughter. Like, they didn't have her do anything that obviously bad that you can look at and say, no, she really did fuck up here. But then they didn't make it like something that she absolutely did nothing wrong. Like, they had played that line in the middle just enough that you could say, yeah, she could have given the extension to her. But is that worth her going to hell? Absolutely not. Is it worth anything that happens to her in this movie? Just with the few days leading up to the end of dealing with all the demonic possession shit and all the paranormal stuff that this demon is making happen all around her? No. Like, does she deserve anything that happens to her in this movie? No. Like, no. Like, 100% across the board. And if people think that she did, like I said, I could see the argument a little bit with the whole like bullshit, she could have given the extension. To me, she didn't. She was doing her job. She did nothing wrong. And then just seeing Ganush in the casket, and just that nasty scene we get next with her moving and falling against the casket, and Ganush's body falls on top of her, and again with just the embalming fluid just fucking spraying into Christine's mouth, and it's so fucking gross, man. So fucking gross, but it is really cool. But again, she would not have paid that loan back even if she got it because she's fucking dead. And then they go to dinner at Justin Long's parents' house, and they don't like her just because she's a farm girl, and that Justin Long's character like just finished school and he's going off to do better things, and that the mom especially seems like Justin Long's, I don't know why I can't think of his name, his character in this, but Justin Long's character's mother seems to be the one that's really against Christine. But then they seem to have a little bonding moment at dinner, and with her mentioning that her mother was an alcoholic. Then Justin Long's character's mom says, like her mom was an alcoholic, and that it was, big of you to admit something like that and talk about it. And they seem to bond a little bit in that whole little dinner scene. Then you have, what a cool little, I love the effect on this, even if CGI, but when she's cutting into the cake that she brought, and she sees the eye like just moving around inside her piece of cake, and she ends up stabbing it, and the blood or pus or whatever it is coming out of it, and then just freaks out in front of the whole family there. That kind of just ruined that whole bonding experience that she had. and then they're like, just let her go. Just let her go. Like she's not well. And of course, Justin Long follows after her. And then we have the seance scene. I love this scene. Like, it is such a cool scene. Just the atmosphere in the scene, and the whole thing with the goat. And just, I love the actress who plays the psychic, or the medium, or medium, I guess would be the word to go with, right? Since she pretty much is a vessel in that moment for the Lamia. And they had the whole plan to transfer the Lamia into the goat. And just in classic Raimi fashion again, just shit hits the wall, and just with the whole thing with the goat coming to life as Lamia and just acting crazy, and then the fire breaks out, and the assistant there is just, I mean, you can tell that he's on strings. I think you can even see like the strings in one of the scenes, in one of the shots, but him just like dancing around like a marionette with the music playing. Awesome stuff. Like, always love that seance scene. It's really well, very, very well shot. And then after all this, they make it Christine seem like everything's all right. Like they just fixed the problem. Like they banished the Lamia. And then the guy waits till they get outside to say like, yeah, no, he's not banished. Like you just saw him get banished from a seance. Like the Lamia is still coming for you. Are you serious? You couldn't fucking let her know that, like, a lot sooner than that? Like, as soon as you were leaving? I don't know. He gives her a lot of hope just to come out and say that, yeah, no, she just banished the Lamia from the seance. Like, this shit's still coming for you. And then charges her, what, like $10,000 or something like that. She has to sell everything that she has, pretty much. Every valuable that she owns. And then just to find out that Justin Long, her boyfriend, paid him. So, like, she basically gave up everything that she had for no reason. Which has gotta suck so bad, man. And then she ends up going and asking the psychic guy if you can give this button back to Ms. Ganuch, even if she's dead. Because at first she wants to try to give it as a gift to Stu. And I don't blame her. But, like I said, does he deserve to go to hell for being a dick? Absolutely not. So I can see why she couldn't go through with it. And I don't think a lot of people would be able to go through with that. Like sending somebody to hell just because he's a dickhead. Like, and we see how much of an asshole this guy is. Because he says, when the scene where he orders food and asks if Christine can go pick the food up, the sandwiches for him and the manager of the bank. And when she comes back, he said like, oh, I ordered no mayo on mine. And like, we saw the scene. He did not. Like, he absolutely didn't say that. He just put her in a position that either she looks like she fucked up, or just to antagonize her enough that she snaps back at him. And that's exactly what happens. And it's like, whoa, like, chill out, chill out. He's a complete dick. Does he deserve to go to hell, like I said? Absolutely not. Does he deserve maybe to be fucked with for a day or two? Yeah, maybe. I think if anyone in this movie deserves that, it's Stu. Hell? Not a fucking chance. And so since she can't do that and get up she can't muster it up to give this button away to anybody, she even sees the old couple and figures, they've lived a long life. Would it be so bad to give it to them? But again, you're sending them to hell. So she just can't bring herself to do it. And that's when she ends up coming to the psychic and asking him, saying, does it have to be someone who's alive? Would I be able to give it back to Miss Ganush? And he says that it might be possible, that it probably is possible. And then the whole switch, it's not really even a twist. Like, I don't know many people who didn't see that coming. Like when they're in the car together and she has the button in the envelope and he has his commemorative coin because he's a coin collector. And what was it, a buffalo nickel? Not commemorative coin. It was like a buffalo head nickel or something like that. And he had it in an envelope. So like when they hit like a stop and she drops all her stuff, it's not really a twist at all. Like we all knew that she was picking up the coin and not the button. Like, so I don't even think that was meant to be any type of twist and stuff. Like, I don't know, just the way that they handled that. It's kind of like pretty much 100% obvious that she's picking this coin up and not the button. And then she goes to the grave of Mrs. Ganush and raining, thunder, and she has a hard time even getting back out afterwards. And she takes it and says, Mrs. Ganush, this is my present to you, and you are now the owner of this button. Shoves it in her mouth, and then the rain's filling up the grave, and Miss Ganush's body starts bobbing up next to her, and awesome stuff. Like, I love all the scenes in this movie. And then we get to the train station, her thinking that it's over, that she beat this Lamia, that she was able to give it back to Miss Ganush. And then she's picking out, and she got the promotion. She gets a call from her boss that Stu tried taking the file off of the boss's desk and bringing it to another bank. And when he was confronted about it, he started breaking down crying. And so he's gone, and the assistant manager position is waiting for Christine when she gets back. And then Justin Long ends up meeting her there. She picks out a nice coat that she wants, and they're ready to go on some weekend trip. And then he just brings it out and says, oh, well, I found the button. You must have my coin. And just the look of horror on her face when she realizes that she didn't get rid of the button, that it was the coin. She looks so horrified. And then just the whole ending of this, like, she ends up falling back on the train tracks. And Justin Long is trying to help her. And then just right before the train comes, with the the ground opening up, and Christine gets sucked into hell. She doesn't get away. And it's a grim fucking ending. And just, again, CGI heavy, yeah. But I love how that looks in the end. Like, I love her saying, like, help me, and just screaming for help. And Justin Long is reaching his arm out and stuff, and he's in complete disbelief. And this whole movie, he's been the type of person that I would be. Like, complete skeptic, with her going to a psychic and all that shit. Like, oh, come on, we're really going down the psychic fucking road? Like, come on with this bullshit. I'd be a believer like that. Like, as soon you see your girlfriend getting sucked down into hell, I would be a believer, like, right then and there. Like, that's all you need. Like, but just, what a grim ending, man. And I absolutely adore this movie. And like I said, people who were waiting for Raimi's return to horror, they fucking got it here. And this is PG-13. And I can't think of anything really that could have been added to this movie to make it R. Like, this is one of those few movies you get here and there that the PG-13 rating seems fine. Like, it doesn't seem like anything else could have been added to it. And yeah, Drag Me to Hell, amazing movie, awesome Sam Raimi movie. And I will have a video for Chucky season 2, episode 3 up next. So stick around for that. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.